Hello and welcome to this Lesson Lab module titled Productive Positivity, brought to you by Go Teach 11, ESC 11's teacher certification program. Your journey starts here. This module builds off the learning from Reinforce and Redirect. Our objective is to harness positive framing to reinforce expectations and offer precise praise to highlight excellent student work. Your learning will be assessed in the context of a 10-minute mini-lesson. During the mini-lesson, you must narrate the positive to acknowledge when students follow directions. You must also provide precise praise to highlight a student's insight or academic practice. We'll have 2 readings from Teach Like a Champion 2.0, so be sure to have the book by your side. Now that we know our learning intentions, how we'll be assessed, and what we'll need, we are happy cats. Let's get started. Being a teacher means you're going to have to get used to being in front of an audience, whether it's in front of students or colleagues. You'll have private, semi-private, and public conversations, all of which are open to interpretation. Putting on your teacher hat means understanding that what you say and how you say it will affect your ability to make an impact on others. When instances of misbehavior occur, it's easy to get sidetracked and allow the missteps to derail the learning. This module is all about harnessing the power of positivity to send the message that you value the good work students do and don't let the negative aspects overwhelm you. Staying positive is a skill that takes time to develop. In this course, we'll teach 2 techniques to help use positivity as a motivating force in your classroom. The first technique is positive framing, which is all about reinforcing a larger picture of faith in your students, trust with each other, while reminding students about the best courses of action to remain productive and focused on their learning. Teach Like a Champion 2.0 provides 6 rules for positive framing in pages 426 to 432. We'll summarize some of them here in the next few slides before you read a few pages on your own. The first rule is live in the now. This means avoiding harping on what students can no longer fix. We can live in the now by focusing on what needs to happen now from this point forward rather than lingering on the past. A non-example is, you spent the last 5 minutes doing absolutely nothing. A more productive approach might be going to the student individually and then asking, what can I clarify to get you started? Working with them to make sure that they're on the way to being productive. There's a time and place for processing what went wrong, but the right time is not when your lesson hangs in the balance. The second rule is assuming the best of your students. We don't want to assume that they're doing everything they can to be a bad apple. Sometimes we assume that students are intending to be disrespectful, or we assume that they're intending to do nothing all day. Assuming the best means you have the belief that students will do the right thing with the right sort of support and reinforcement. Here we have a few examples of teachers assuming negative intentions of their students, such as, "Stop trying to trash my room, that's incredibly rude," or, "Hold on, class, some students don't think the rules about lining up apply to them." Or, "I know your goal is to do as little as possible today, but I need you to try." I really like the stems that Doug Lemov provides to help teachers assume the best even when students misstep. See if you can rephrase these non-examples using the sentence stems here. Take a moment to read over these and see if your corrections look something like this. I hope you can see that using these stems helps respond to misbehaviors without addressing students with negativity. Now, when it's clear that a student has intentionally done something wrong, such as lying or continuing with outbursts, there are exceptions to assuming the best. We could give a lightning quick public correction or even a private individual correction to the student. When we do, we want to identify the action as being negative, not the student. Instead of saying, "You are dishonest, you are obnoxious, you are mean," say, "That was dishonest, that was obnoxious," or "That was hurtful, and I know that's not who you are." A person is always better than the moments in which he or she errs. And our language choice gives us the opportunity to show that in those moments, we still see the best in the people around us. Rule 3 is allowing plausible anonymity. It's possible that a student can self-correct just by stating what you observe and restating your expectation. If a few students struggle to follow your directions, consider making your first response something like, "I'm waiting for 2 more students to place their books in their desk. Front row, feet under desks. There's a few of us who appear to be confused about what page we're on. Check yourself to make sure you're continuing to write." Or, "Some of us didn't push in our chairs, so let's go back and try it again." Being anonymous with your corrections, while assuming the best, allows students to strive to reach your expectations and helps you decide whether or not you need to make an individual intervention. Narrating the positive is all about focusing on what's going right rather than what's going wrong. Developing this skill helps you feel sane and effective. Narrating the positive helps students see the normality of positive and constructive behavior when it happens. In your 10-minute mini lesson, you're expected to acknowledge when students follow your directions. This provides an additional cue for students who haven't followed your direction yet and helps them get back on track. Read about narrating the positive on pages 429 to 431. As you read, think about what opportunities you'll have in your mini lesson to acknowledge compliance and verbalize when students follow directions. Now for our final 2 rules of positive framing: challenges and aspirations. Kids love to be challenged, to prove they could do things, to compete, to win. Challenge students by asking them to prove what they can do. Build competition into the day. When you ask students to do something differently or better, you're helping them become the people they aspire to be. Now, it is a good thing to tell students you're proud of them. I advise you to do that. But the end goal is not for them to please you, but for them to leave your class in the best possible position in a journey toward a more distant and important goal. Your extra challenge for this module is incorporating challenge or aspiration into the learning task. Read over the examples on the screen to see if you can integrate this concept into your mini lesson. See positive framing in action by visiting my.teachlikeachampion.com and viewing clip 70. See if you can identify which components of positive framing the teacher uses with her students. Our final tidbit of learning and second technique centers around providing praise. When you praise a student, you're communicating positive judgment while highlighting their effort, insight, or attempt to do what's right. We distinguish precise praise as being more detailed than a simple "nice work," and explaining what actions a student took that allowed them to do something well. Some examples are: your attention to detail allow you to revise these sentences in the best possible way. Or, you followed the steps exactly right, and that's why you're able to come up with an accurate answer. Or, this is successful because you included academic vocabulary, which helped you sound like a historian. Providing precise praise is a component of the proficiency rubric for this module. So read more about precise praise on pages 433 to 437. As you read, see if you can differentiate between acknowledgement and praise. When you finish your reading, see it in action by seeing precise praise in Mr. Chiger's class. Access clip 73 by navigating to my.teachlikeachampion.com. Congratulations! You've learned about narrating the positive and precise praise, and you're on your way to conducting a successful mini lesson. Let's take up this rubric one more time to make sure we know what to do in the mini lesson. Throughout the course of the 10 minutes, you'll need to narrate the positive to acknowledge when students follow your directions. And you'll also need to provide precise praise to highlight a student's insight or academic practice. For that extra challenge, motivate high-level work by offering a challenge or alluding to some sort of aspiration. We have just a few tips to help you plan to incorporate these techniques. Thanks for watching this module titled, We created this chart to help you plan for productive positivity. It may help you to create your own version of this graphic organizer. Think about what will occur in each phase of your mini lesson. What behavior do you most want to see in each portion? What potential off-task behavior could occur? Does it make more sense to acknowledge following directions through narrating the positive? Or is this a better opportunity to provide precise praise? Consider some of the stems we've encountered and brainstorm phrases you could use to help you stay on track. Thanks for watching this module titled Productive Positivity that was designed and produced by GoTeach11. This video referred to content from Teach Like a Champion 2.0. Images were downloaded from 123RF and Pixabay.